Hello everyone, good evening. Myself UMESH, Faculty for History and Internal Security at CSB-IAS Academy. Today I want to discuss about a very important topic in internal security of India, that is the changing nature of terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. Over the past few years we have observed some very predominant changes in Jammu and Kashmir's insurgency and militancy. So let us try to understand what is the changing nature of this terrorism. First and foremost, from the year 1990 on, we have seen in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so let's categorize it into the year 1990 to 2020. So in the years between 1990 to 2020, predominantly we have seen for this 30-year period, terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir is primarily a form of Islamic terrorism. And particularly this Islamic terrorism is visible in the organizations like, so Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed. So these kind of organizations used to be present in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. But very strangely, post 2020, these organizations themselves created, so new front organizations for themselves, which are called as, one is Resistance Front. The other organization which has been a replacement of Jaish-e-Mohammed is an organization which is called as People Anti-Fascist Front of India. Okay, so this name change signifies a lot of important things which are happening in Jammu and Kashmir particularly. Try to understand this. First and foremost, these organizations, they clearly show that they are associated with Islamic terrorism. But the thing is, internationally, there is a lot of targeting of Islamic terrorists. And along with the targeting of Islamic terrorists, one more important aspect is majority of the leaders of Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, they have been designated as international terrorists. So because of which reason, what these people are trying to do is, they are trying to transition from Islamic terrorism to secular terrorism. Islamic terrorism to secular terrorism, and the most important aspect of this is the changing of the names to Resistance Front and People Anti-Fascist Front. So this is the first prominent change that we have observed. Then apart from this change, the second important change which is occurring in the landscape of terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir is, so the second important change is the geographical change that is happening. Earlier, from 1990 to 2020, for a 30-year period, the most insurgent hit region has always been the Kashmir-Valley region. Kashmir-Valley region is the predominant region where most of the terror strikes were occurring, and the Indian government also established its security grid also in the same region, and Kashmir Valley has been the major target of the terrorists. But nowadays what is happening is, this terrorism has shifted from the Kashmir Valley to the region of Jammu, sir. Predominantly the Hindu-dominated districts like Rayasi, Rajouri, Poonch sector. So this way they have predominantly migrated from the Kashmir Valley region to the Jammu region, where the security grid of the Indian government is relatively weak, sir. So because of which reason they are targeted and shifted their focus from the Kashmir Valley region to the Jammu region, and there are many reasons behind it. One important reason is, first and foremost, this Jammu region is a thickly forested region, and because of the forest present here, so it is very difficult for the Indian security agencies and even the satellite images to capture the whereabouts of the terrorists. So because of this forest region, they are taking advantage of it and they have migrated from Kashmir Valley to the Jammu region. Then along with that, the second important factor is, Jammu over the years has become one important region for mineral exploration for Indian government, sir. Particularly recently, the Geological Survey of India, it has identified 7 million tons of lithium reserves in the Jammu region. And this is a very strategic mineral for India, and the terrorists, by creating internal security challenges in this region, they want us to stop the exploration of this 7 million tons of mineral, that is lithium. You might be knowing that lithium is a very important mineral in battery technology, in the telecommunication technology, electronic chip manufacturing, in multiple number of things. It is a very important mineral. That is the reason why the terrorists deliberately have shifted their focus from the Kashmir region to the Jammu region, sir. Then apart from this second geographical region, the third factor which is making them shift, okay, or the third important change that we have seen in Jammu and Kashmir terrorism is, earlier the primary target was always the security agencies, sir. Okay, the primary target was always the security agencies. The terrorists used to conduct multiple strikes against the security agencies, like you might be knowing about the Pulwama attack. So these kind of attacks, they targeted the security agencies. But today, the nature of terrorism has changed, and the terrorists are mainly focusing on the infrastructure projects that are being built prestigiously by the Indian government there, sir. You might have seen that nearly 6 immigrant labor, along with 1 doctor, they have been killed in the Sonamarg area, where the government is trying to build an infrastructure tunnel. And the terrorists and other extremists always dislike communication, primarily because through communication, development will happen. And if development happens, then the security or the people's sympathy towards the terrorists is going to go away. That is the reason why, in order to stop development, they started targeting the infrastructure in the region. Then along with the infrastructure, there is also attack on outsiders who are coming to work on these infrastructure projects. And along with the targeting the outsiders, the people who are in leadership position in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly the people who are participating in the panchayat elections, who are in fact pro-India factions in Jammu and Kashmir, they became a special target, particularly after nearly 66.38% of Jammu and Kashmir public participated in the general election which were conducted in 2024. So naturally what happened is they started targeting the leadership who are in fact pro-India in Jammu and Kashmir, sir. So this is one more important change that is happening. First is the name change from Islamic terrorism to secular terrorism. The second is the area of target geographically. The third is the targeted people. Earlier it was security agencies. Today it is infrastructure, outsiders, and the people in leadership role in Jammu and Kashmir. This is the third significant change. Then apart from this, one more important area that we need to know about Jammu and Kashmir violence and terrorism is, earlier, try to understand this, Pakistan is the sole sponsor for all these extremist activities. But these days, what we have observed very clearly is, apart from Pakistan, there is rising influence of China in the extremism of Jammu and Kashmir, sir. Okay, naturally, you might ask a question, sir, why will China get involved in supporting this kind of organizations? The first and foremost evidence that comes to us is the terrorists started using night vision devices, drones, and weapons which are clearly linked to Chinese manufacturers. There is no doubt about it. The night vision devices, the drones, the weapons which are being used by the terrorists, all of them have Chinese imprint on them. Then the second thing is, try to understand this. Okay, the Chinese support to the extremists is quite obviously visible. Okay, in terms of, try to understand this. Okay, post removal of Article 370. Okay, China started in fact criticizing India for unilaterally changing the status of Jammu and Kashmir, and after that they started outrightly supporting the extremists in this region. Then along with that, once we found the lithium reserves in the Jammu region, this is a threat to the global dominance of China in lithium reserves. As of today, it is said that nearly 80% of the global supply of lithium is under the control of China. And it doesn't like India also to explore its lithium reserves and challenge China's strategical control over lithium. So because of all these factors, the Chinese are in fact getting more and more involved in militancy in Jammu and Kashmir. So these are the 4 important changes that we have observed in the militancy of Jammu and Kashmir. Number 1 is shift from Islamic terrorism to secular terrorism. The second one is the geographical region. They have changed from Kashmir Valley to the Jammu region, where the security grid of India is a little weak and the areas which are thickly forested. Then the third important change is the transition from, so we have talked about the transition of Jammu and Kashmir terrorism in the nature of the targets that they are selecting. Earlier it was security agencies, now it is people in leadership position, the people who are so in fact involved in infrastructure activity. Then along with that, even the people who are outsiders into Jammu and Kashmir, all of them are being targeted. Then apart from this, the fourth important change is exclusively from Pakistan sponsored terrorism. Today we are seeing Chinese involvement also in sponsoring terrorism in India. So these are the important changes in Jammu and Kashmir terror map of India. So on this note, okay, thank you for your time. Have a good day.